Hi again. I'm just here with the Illustrator texture file. I just wanted to quickly show you how to work with them and where you can find everything that you need. So you'll see the swatches here, but also if you go into swatches now, if you've already updated to the new Creative Cloud, and if you've clicked when you've opened it to go with the new properties option, so where you would normally have all of your information on the top bar, it's now in this properties area. If you've clicked OK to that, you won't have any of these options down the side that I've got. So I've just rebuilt my workstation. So you're just going to want to go to Window and then just scroll down until you get to Swatches. I just popped that back down here along with Pathfinder and Image Trace and a few other things just so I've got easy access to those. So if you go into swatches, you'll see that the swatches are all down here. So if you do need to export the repeating tile, if you wanted to put that into Photoshop, for example, you can just pull it from here, and that there is your repeat tile. So I'll just hop on over to another document and I'll show you how you can work with them. So what I've done is I've just copy and pasted one of the textures over here, and you can just drag it over, and if you hold shift, if you want to rescale that, you can do so just by resizing it to where you think you might want it. So that's too big for my liking, so I'd rather keep it down here. I'll show you another way to rescale later on, but that's just a quick way around it. So one of the easiest ways if you're working with solid shapes like this one I've got here is to just do edit copy and then Command F for paste in front, and then if you use your eyedropper tool you can just pick that colour, or the pattern I should say, the pattern swatch, and you can have that pop straight on there. So if we go to properties, again if you are using an older version of Illustrator, you'll see this on your top section here, and it'll just be where stroke and opacity is. So if you click on opacity, if you just change that down, you can add just a subtle texture. Another option is to click on opacity, and then here where you have normal, you've got your other blend modes just like in Photoshop. So you can play around with those and see which one gives you the effect you're looking for. Another option is to recolor the swatch. So now that I've pasted this tile, or this little block of textile pattern, it automatically goes into your swatches. So if I double click, it's going to open up into the pattern options, and that lets me actually access all the little bits and pieces that make up this texture. So I'm just going to do Command A to select everything, and then it's going to take a while because I'm capturing the screen, and there's a lot of anchor points in this, so you're going to want to make sure you haven't got anything else open at the same time. But if I just click on one of my other colours and then click Save a Copy, we'll give it a new name, new text, click OK. This should work a lot faster for you. And that swatch now appears here. Now one thing to do is to press done, sorry, press cancel. Excuse me, don't press done. If you press done, it overwrites the original. I don't know why this hasn't been updated in many of the updates that Illustrator has done. Just be sure to press cancel. So now if I just select that top layer again, I can click on the new colour version. I should have done a more sensible colour to show you. But what I'll do is I'll just move that to one side, and I'm going to make this a different colour just so you can see a little better. There we go. So if you wanted to actually rescale this here, I'll just use a different texture so you can paste. So you can rescale this way as I've shown you already. If I rescale this little box with the fill in already, and if I then do eye for the eyedropper and I select that pattern there, you'll see it's the same scale as over here. If I was to enlarge that and then do the same again, it keeps to the same scale as I'm using for the colour picker. Whereas if I go into the swatches, if I double click, it's going to go, oops, excuse me. If I click on it just twice, not double click, isn't working. Oh, fine, unless that's close to the original. Ah, it did, I just couldn't see. So what you can do is, if you have the pattern selected, if you right click, you can do transform and scale, and that allows you to scale the actual pattern. So I'll just click preview so you can see uniform, and you want to just uncheck transform objects because you don't want it to transform the actual object itself, the shape. I just want it to transform the patterns. So I'll uncheck that, and then I'll just scale down so you can see. And I'll scale back up. So I'll leave it around there. Click OK. And let's give the blend mode a go. Let's see how these are looking. Soft lights a little subtler. I'll stick with that for now. If I come over here you can see the pink layer here has this texture beneath it. Just as another example. Another option is to actually just bring in a PNG. You can do that the same way as you would in Photoshop. File place. Just put that to one side for a moment. So as it's a pattern swatch that's already loaded in your swatches, you can create a shape and fill it already with the pattern. So what I'm going to do is edit copy, and this time Command D to paste behind, and I'm just going to go to my swatches again and just put a solid colour behind, and I'm going to send that to the back. And then with the textured shape, I'm just going to go to properties again, and I'm going to just take the opacity down. Just like that. If you have, excuse me, if you have something like this area here, which I would like to have as a solid or with a different pattern, you can either use the pen tool and go around it, which in fact is exactly what I will do. Do it very quickly. Just going to change the font and the back. So with this one, I have that shape here, but I don't want the texture to actually be on this part. So if I just, while I still have this shape selected, I'm just going to select the texture shape. And if you do Shift M, which brings up the shape builder tool, which is just here, you can now see as I hover over, I get this shading effect, which shows me that Illustrator is seeing these two individual shapes. So what I'm going to do is click Alt and delete. Sorry, Alt and click, which just deletes that shape that was there. And then I'm just going to click on there one more time. So now I've got this individual shape, and you can see that it punched out that same shape from the texture here. So I'm just going to send that behind, and there you go.